is Salisu Mohammed. Welcome you to talk show from Voice of Nigeria here, and I have three gentlemen together that we want to discuss the Super Falcons of Nigeria in faraway Australia and New Zealand, where the 2023 FIFA World Cup is being hosted. Despite the fact that there has been a lot of fear before Nigeria meet the Olympic champions, which is Canada. End of the day, Nigeria was able to kind of play out goalless draw to send a very strong message to the world and to encourage all the African participants in this edition of FIFA World Cup. I have with me here an in-house sport analyst, Mazino Dixon. You're welcome to this edition of Talk Show.
Thank you so much, Alice.
And close to me, I have another sport analyst, Solomon Chung. You're welcome to this edition of Sport Talk Show.
It's a pleasure.
And close to him, I have Teve Dominic, another in-house sport analyst. Welcome to this edition of Sport Talk from Voice of Nigeria.
To be a part of this edition of this production.
Let me begin with you, Maxine Dixon. We saw, another different Super Falcon inspired, the statistics that have shown before the game that it all goes to the Olympic champions, Canada, and all of us were afraid that Nigeria could lose the first game, maybe with a very wide margin, but we saw a very hard fighting Super Falcons. How do you feel about the goalless draw against the Canadians?
I was quite happy, Sadisu, because, like you say, there was a build-up that gave everybody some form of fright. The issue of team selection, monies being owed or that should have been given, and also some form of disagreement between the football authorities and the coach. But fortunately, the Super Falcons put that all away. They concentrated and got a very, very important result against the Canadians. That was despite conceding a penalty and also playing with a man down towards the end of the game. Credit to the team, credit to the goalkeeper, Chiamaka Nadozie, credit to Debo Abiodun, even though she was red carded for a home-based player who some members of the Nigerian football fraternity thought she should not have been there, that she didn't have the experience. But for the 20-year-old, she came, she stamped her authority, and she's one for the future. The only issue we now have to look at is the attack, that they should be able to put their chances away. We saw that the defense and the midfield, they were compact, they were able to keep the Canadians quiet, but most especially the goalkeeper led from the back, and she led with example. So credit to the Super Falcons, credit to the coach, credit to Nigerians, and of course we now have the opportunity to build on this result. If we can get a good one against the hosts, Australia and Ireland, definitely Nigeria should be in the second round.
David Dominic, it's the only Nigeria going for African continent as a representative. We'll have Morocco, we'll have the Zambia, and we'll have the South Africa now going forward. We saw Nigerian game, it has a kind of poor other African representative, like if they stand tall and stand on their feet, that truly it could be time for Africa, possibly maybe we could get something out of this edition of the FIFA World Cup. Now going forward, now looking at African representative, what do you want to see, like Zambia, who is playing on Saturday, and South Africa is playing on Sunday, then Morocco will begin their campaign on Monday, which is 26th. And what do you want to see different from what we saw against Nigeria and Canada?
I want to see an African team winning their opening match at this particular female World Cup out there in New Zealand and Australia. I think with what the Nigerian girls have done so far, these other African teams will pick encouragement. Zambia, for instance, if you go by their pre-tournament warm-up matches, you could rate them very high, and everybody is talking about them right now. They defeated Germany, they played other top women football nations, and they were able to come up with very good results. Recently, they played against Switzerland, and it was a 3-3 draw. That tells you that aside being a team that qualified to represent the continent, the African continent, they are also a team that would not only be in New Zealand or Australia as a to make up the numbers, but as part of African team that will make the continent very proud. I see them doing very well in this championship. South Africa is out there, and Morocco. You might say that Morocco and Zambia are just making their debut at this international stage. I can tell you from what we saw during the Africa Women Championship, it seems these teams were well packaged. They came with a lot of experience, and I see them taking these experiences to New Zealand or Australia.
Solomon Chung, you saw Nigeria is parading one of the high-quality players among the African contingent to this 2023 Women FIFA World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Nigeria, our next opponent, is going to be one of the host country. which is Australia, and the advantages of the fans, the advantages of they are playing at home, and these are one of the powerhouses of the European football in terms of women football now. And you saw the chances that Nigerian could not utilize against the Canadian. Now going forward, playing against host country and with all those advantages to the host country and the disadvantage to the Nigerian team. I mean, how do you want to see our attack and our midfield play out against Australia?
Yeah, Salisu, what happened between Nigeria and Canada was a tactical setup by the coach. He knew the attacking prowess of the Canadians. That was why he asked his girl to stay back. Just get the job done. If you have any opportunity, catch them on the break. If there's no opportunity, just stay back. And that actually affected Asisat's game, because her concentration was just, let's just keep hold on this. Don't go for the attacking prowess.
But when you said that, there's a very clear opportunity which she had, and which I believe that if it's in her club side where she plays, she couldn't have missed such opportunity. And we saw, her not just trying to make attempt to convert that,
that particular chance,
goal, but she was trying to kind of, play something, sort of a kind of a pull out for the lady behind, but she could not get it on time and get clear off. And
such happen in football. Like you can have some misses, you can also make some errors. That particular incident was an error, but I'm talking about the generality of the setup. The setup was all about, let's not go all out for these girls. They have more attacking prowess than us. He is an American, he understands the Canadian football. They play the same pattern with Americans. So that was why he did that, and luckily he got the job done. But I can assure you, when we meet Australia, it will be a different setup. We are going to attack because we know we need those 3 points. And when you talk of the capacity of the team, human resources wise, they are not better than us, the Australians. Yes, they are in top form, no doubt. Everybody knows Australia is in top form. Their female football is in top form. They are the host country. They got everything going on for them at the moment. But human resources wise, man for man, player for player, they are not better than us. Because look at the caliber of players we have.
Magdalene Dixon, now if you look at the African contingent, the Zambians, this is the first appearance, the Moroccans, this is the first appearance. And do you have any fear for them? Morocco will be taking Germany and Monday, and the Zambia will be up against Japan.
It's obvious that Morocco is picking on what the Atlas Lions did at the FIFA Men's World Cup in Qatar 2022. There is a clear trajectory for Moroccan football, both for male and female. Now they hosted the Women's African Nations Cup in 2022. They finished runner-up. Then even in the CAF Champions League, they won. Royal Armed Forces of Rabat, the female team, won. And they've also called up French nationals of Moroccan descent into this team. And that's why you see they play differently. And I watched one of their matches against the Italians. They were very compact. The Moroccans, if you say skill for skill amongst the 4 African teams, I would say they have the best ball retention because they have the traditional French possessive type of football in them. And of course, they are North Africans. They are skillful. They have the flair. And so, right now, Germany, football-wise, is struggling. Their men's team is really in bad shape. We saw what happened against Zambia when they played the Zambians. They could not cope with the sheer strength and pace of the Zambians. Now the Moroccans are North Africans. They have pace, they have strength, then they also have that tactics of getting a goal, killing the game, slowing it down, then catching you on the break. Now, if the Moroccans can strike early against the Germans will be in trouble because they will come out and the Moroccans will hit them very hard. As for Zambia, you have Barbara Banda already. She was not allowed to play at the Women's AFCON at a point because there were issues in Zambia. And from what I was told from some Zambian friends, there were even fears that FIFA would actually not allow her play because of this issue of testosterone levels. But she is in the team. They also have another player that plays in the Italian Serie A. This Zambian team is very potent when it comes to attack. I said it some weeks ago that amongst the African teams, the team that is likely to score most goals is Zambia. My problem was the defense. Now, you watch their 3 friendly matches. The first one against Republic of Ireland, they scored first, went ahead 2-1. The Irish equalized and it ended 3-2. The second game, they led 2-0 against the Swiss. The Swiss came back and it ended 3-3. Against the Germans, they led 2-0 The Germans came back, but the Zambians scored the winner. So they identified their problem. Their problem is the defense and the goalkeeping area. If, like what the Nigerian Falcons did against Canada, they can maintain discipline at the back. Trust me, Banda alone can take on the whole team. She is a terror in front of goal. So I have the confidence that the Zambians can actually make it out of the group. If they can get at least a win and a draw, they will be fine.
David Dominic, putting the permutation together now, if the all-African representative were able to make it from their group, could we say it's time for Africa now? Or it's too early for us to call for time for Africa?
It might not be too early, but at the same time, already we've seen a shocker in the opening game between New Zealand and Norway. Nobody expected Norway to lose that game. Nobody expected New Zealand to have even won. But it was their first time winning at a major championship. But that they have done, and it's on record now that it's part of history. So if eventually all of these 4 African teams flying Africa's flag out there in New Zealand and Australia happen to go through to the next stage of this championship, anything can happen. Because once it gets, we are out of a particular group in a major championship, get to the knockout, no more underdogs. Anything can happen. So I might not say it will be too early, but like I did mention earlier, let them get out of the group stage first, and there might be surprises, definitely.
Solomon Chuk, what hope again do you have?
Yeah, I like the representative of the African continent. Yes, Nigeria, undoubtedly the best. Zambia, undoubtedly second best. They are so good. They are young. It's a fresh team. Technically wise, they are okay. South Africans, you know their trajectory. They are good enough. Moroccans, you can say debutants, but debutants with a lot of diaspora girls, bunch of technicality, playing like Europeans and everything. So I like what we took to the party, and I'm very sure there will be a lot of surprises this tournament.
Before we go, Mazilu Dixon, there is this fear that Coach Waldrom, the pattern that he played against Canada, must likely play out against Australia, the host country, because they too, they're very good with the ball and with advantages, attached to them. But will you subscribe him to stick to the strategy that he had in the first game, or you want to see a shift from what the girls play out against Canada?
Well, for me, I would say they should actually go out and get an early goal. If you get an early goal, that will destabilize the Australians, even with the crowd backing them. That will leave, there will be exposure at the back. And remember, Ajibade is coming back to the fray, and another player too, who were suspended for the first game against Canada. So it means, apart from Abiodun, who was red carded, we still have many other players on the bench that can actually deliver. But key, like in this particular game, is Azizat. She has to put on her coaching instincts. She has to take the opportunity. Fortunately, we know the Australians are physical, they are strong. Nigeria is also physical and strong, so it's going to be, as we say, body jam body, that kind of thing. But in this sense, we have to take our chances. Very important. And once we score first, Australia, remember their main player, Kerr, that plays for Chelsea, she will not still play the second match. She missed the first match against Ireland. If she doesn't play, then there will be more pressure on Australia. Then there will be less fear from the Nigerians. We can come out and match the Australians. And hopefully, if we can get a win against Australia, I don't see us losing. But if we can get a win, it now prepares us for the last match against Ireland, depending on what they play against Canada. Because the Canadians will want to come out against the Irish. The Irish will also want to come out. So it's all for us to play, and I hope we get the 3 points.
Yes, we hope we get the 3 points against the Australian and all African representative to be able to come off the group stages and go to the knockout stages. This is much that we can bring to our audience in this edition of Sport Talk Show from Voice of Nigeria. Before we go, many thanks to Maximo Dixon for participating in this edition.
My pleasure, anytime.
Maximo Dixon is an in-house sport analyst. And close to me here is Solomon Chuk. Thank you for participating.
Thanks for having me.
David Dominic.
Always a pleasure.
For participating.
Always a pleasure.
My name is Salis Mohammed. Join us next edition for sport talk show from Voice of Nigeria. Thanks for tuning with us and thanks for watching us.
And side-footed into the bottom corner, and Norway are into the last